what I was telling you about.
Because he's not. So his
apparently
went to the Terrigen Mist.
I guess he's not human. I don't know. I don't know what to think about this whole thing.
Is he not?
And I suppose you folks don't know what we're talking about either. Today we're going to take a look at the TV shows and the movies of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, as well as the DC Extended Universe. Once again, folks, I am your host, Juan.
And my name is the Inhuman John.
And this is...
You're mutant.
Oh, you missed your cue.
Oh, this is...
Oh, it doesn't work anymore. Nerd Sandwich, comics, movies, nerd things, sandwiches. Woo, 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 woo. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us today for another episode of the Nerd Sandwich Podcast. We are your hosts,
Captain John.
And I'm Captain Juan. Thank you for coming. Today we're going to be taking a dive directly into the TV and movie universes of both Marvel and DC and how those kind of relate to one another.
Loosely.
Yeah, there we go. You want to start it off, Johnny boy?
Yeah, I wanted to mention the one that I'm actually kind of excited for is Krypton. Krypton. It's like one of the very few TV shows that are actually related in any capacity to DC Extended Universe, which I think is interesting because like Marvel has been on that bandwagon for a while, kind of now. Like they have Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Defenders, and Luke, all of those that it consists of, as well as I think that's it actually right now. Peggy Carter, I guess they had Agent Peggy Carter.
That one got canceled though.
Yeah, but it was
one of the few ones that actually got canceled.
Yeah, but it was
I'm surprised that got canceled over Iron Fist.
It was connected.
Whatever.
Though. It was connected though, right? So that was a connection.
Yeah, loosely.
But like we have for DC now, they have their very first Krypton, which will serve as a prequel to Superman's origin, and then there's supposed to be some special guest stars.
Oh, I think I heard about this. Yeah. Is this like Jor-El and all them?
Yeah, all everything that happened on Krypton, trying to save Krypton, or like their last moments on Krypton.
That could actually be really cool.
So like with that, there's a set amount of episodes they can have because you know, like at some point,
no man, make it run forever.
There's like 7 seasons. Like man, Krypton's been like,
becomes a telenovela.
Yeah, Krypton's been it's been about to blow up for like 10 years already.
It's kind of like Family Guy when Joe's wife has been pregnant like the whole time. She's never had that kid.
Oh, like it's just like what the heck. But I think that's exciting because
it actually sounds really cool.
I've been looking forward to something like that where DC has more backstory than just what the movie. Because like the
main characters,
like you learn more about them. Like with I know that Defenders and they don't really touch on it, but it just makes you feel like that universe is alive. And with this, it'll be like, okay, Superman comes from a place that actually existed, and then not that it didn't exist in the movie, but like now we see.
Well, we know that it exploded, and we know that it doesn't exist anymore.
Its inhabitants have lives, and they have their characters that I don't know had a struggle. I think that'll be really cool.
Yeah.
Krypton, I mean, I don't know a whole lot about Krypton other than like
that's where Superman
is from.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So like what I do know is that Jor-El was a scientist. Jor-El's Clark Kent's father. Of course, Clark Kent's native name is not Clark Kent. It's Kal-El. Is his name. And Jor-El is his father. So we know that he was part of a group of scientists who detected the seismic activity of Krypton and its instability at the core, and he tried to warn the hierarchs of his government, essentially, so to speak, and they didn't believe him.
Yeah, Zod. I believe Zod didn't. Well, like wasn't Zod part of that process?
I don't know.
I know Zod, like a Zod is in it. I don't know if a relative of General Zod is in it, and I'm guessing they're going to be the ones pitted against each other.
Yeah, and that'd be kind of cool because like all we know is like the final hours of Krypton exploding. That's like how every Superman movie. Well, that's how the Superman movies kicked off. Yeah. You know. And he sends his final son, his only son, which in a way is like very religious. He sends his only son to Earth to save. But that actually sounds very intriguing. Now that you mention it, it sounds very cool.
I like this idea that Jor-El or whoever, any scientists are going to be like, climate change is real. Oh my gosh.
You guys need to listen.
Yeah, you guys need to listen to me. We're all
polar ice caps are melting.
Oh my gosh, penguins are dying. It's like stuff like that would be great, and I think it gives us more insight into like. I think if this is successful, it'll kick off stuff for like Batman. Maybe even I don't know if like a.
You really think it would go into Batman though?
I don't. I mean, maybe not Batman because I know they have Gotham. out.
Which is Smallville reboot.
But like, get his teenage years done.
No, they're going to bring back Dean Cain, man. Dean Cain, the Adventures of Lois and Clark. Man, come on.
I loved that.
That was my first Superman.
I loved Dean Cain was my Superman.
And his day job was Ripley's Believe It or Not. Come on.
Yeah, that was.
Come on.
I think it was the same studio.
He's like, over here, you believe it or not, there's the Superman cape.
Yeah.
So he just puts it on.
I'm hoping that if that works, if Krypton, if legitimately, maybe they'll get something, maybe not Batman, maybe someone else. I mean, I know Flash and Green Arrow have their own standalone film, TV shows. That's great. But I want something that brings me together with those characters.
Yeah.
Maybe some lesser known characters, kind of like what Marvel does with their here, and that might help benefit their comic creations, because Iron Fist, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, all of them are getting more. I think they're getting more comics, correct? I mean, to some degree.
Yeah, you're seeing a little more.
They're getting more
push.
They're getting a bigger fandom, yes. At the very least.
I mean, I always hate going back to this example, but look at Deadpool. Deadpool was a nobody.
Yeah.
I think I learned about him through a video game. You learned about him through a video game too, right?
Video game.
Marvel vs. Capcom. I learned about him through Ultimate Alliance, classic game. But you look at him now; it's like he's a staple hero now. He's a staple anti-hero.
And I think that's something that Marvel does really well. They push their characters in other mediums. It's not just movies, it's not just TV shows, it's not just comics. We're putting them in video games, we're going to put them in TV shows, we're going to put them in I don't know,
XYZ,
different things. Marvel has their Lego Marvel superhero, which is super cool. I know DC has one. I think it's just Batman. They might have a Justice League one actually, but I'd like to see a push for other characters in general, so I can be aware, because I don't know DC very well, and I think it's because it's not as accessible. I don't know about Hawkgirl.
Oh, another medium, you mean?
If there's a Hawkgirl TV show or a I always call him Marvin the Martian.
Jesus. Martian Manhunter. Come on. Oh my gosh.
I'm thinking of the Looney Tunes character.
Oh, I know who you're thinking of. I'm sure everyone else is just geez.
And I'm sure I got a lot of eyes rolled. But Martian Manhunter.
Yes.
I think
you can also call him John Jones.
John Jones. I think that'd be cool. That'd be
or
amazing.
JJ for short. JJ Dynamite.
There you go.
Dynamite.
I think that'd be great to get other backstories of characters that maybe that might not fit into the cinematic universe itself.
Sure. Although we did get a glimpse of John Jones in the Supergirl show.
Yeah.
I don't have cable, and so I don't have ready access to this stuff. But that I hear it was kind of cool. But that I guess that would be your way. But again, it was just
I just think I want a commitment from DC and okay, these characters are never going to be big. They're not going to be part of us the movie universe because they're not as well known. And instead of rebooting, essentially, because if we're talking about reboots, DC is reboots their TV shows all the time. We got Smallville, Adventures of Lois Clark. Unless Adventures of Lois Clark becomes canon, in the universe.
This is written in the comic book.
Yeah.
It's in the movie.
I think it'd be cool just to have that instead of being we're going to have two Flashes essentially.
And I think that's such a pitfall of these TV shows and movies. Yeah. Grant Gustin, who's the current Flash of the TV verse.
Yeah.
He was never considered for the role as the Flash in Justice League. No one, he never even got an approach. He didn't get anything. Ezra Miller is the new guy.
Yeah.
And he's the same character. He's Barry Allen. He's not Wally West. He's not anyone else. They're both Barry Allen.
I think that's unfortunate because
I think it's such a lost opportunity. Personally to me, it's you spend all this time establishing this character in the community. And it's I don't know, back then for me, me being 90s kids, it's you knew you made it when your TV episode became a movie.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I don't know, Rugrats the movie. You look at Rugrats and granted, the movie was great. I cried.
Yeah.
I cried when he and Dylan. I'm getting it. I'm losing track.
Yeah, you're tearing up.
Oh God. But Simpsons the movie is another one.
Yeah.
And it's that was another blockbuster hit. It's you've you've reached out to a community of TV people, the people who go to work 9 to 5 every day, who come home and spend time with their family, and they're gathered around a dinner table or the couch watching TV, or now it's Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, whatever. But it's like you spent all this time, and then it's like you just establish a new character in the movie. It's like, well, wait, you know, I know, I can tell you now, my parents, when they see the new Avengers movies, it's like, well, wait, but what happened to Tobey Maguire?
Yeah.
What happened to Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man? And I'm like, oh, no, Tom Holland's the new Spider-Man. But before him, then they had Andrew Garfield. Yeah. And then they're like, why are there so many? Like,
I don't know. Yes.
You know, it's like, this, they're like, no, I don't like this. Like, I don't like it.
It's discouraging.
You lose audience that way.
Because, like, essentially what they have to do is establish a new origin story.
Yes.
Because they have to. Like, you can't just bring in a new...
Well, and then they have to waste time putting that character in the spotlight. Yeah. It's like, like now I got to see Uncle Ben die again.
Because I think it'd be great if we're talking about like that consistency. I think that Marvel can totally, if they really, really wanted to, Daredevil, if they wanted to, they could make.
Oh my gosh, they totally could. They could totally make all this stuff, and it's like, you know, you've heard it time and time again from Kevin Feige. They have no intention of combining those universes together.
Yeah.
You know, of course, that'd be a beautiful thing if he was like, no, we're not going to. And then one day you just saw it in the movie. Yeah. It's like that'd be the ultimate.
But even if it's not connected necessarily, like, but that loose connection, like, oh, like Daredevil isn't going to interact with the Avengers. But like, yeah, it's like a nod, like, oh, remember the attack on New York? That happened. We all know it happened, but we're not focusing on that. Daredevil is his own thing. He's not living off the coattails of someone else.
True.
And if they decided, like, let's ever to make a Daredevil movie, it could be his own standalone, like, you know, whatever kind of movie, possibly.
And I think that reinforces the fact too that not every single thing needs its own individual movie. Like, it can just be a standalone television show. But at the same time, me as a huge comic fan, I'm just like, oh, like. Ben Affleck made his movie on Daredevil. Yeah. Why can't they make a Charlie Cox version now? Like, this would actually be good. Yeah. You know? And it's just like, to me, that is so unfortunate.
Yeah,
like, that's really the only word I can think of.
It is.
And you look at stuff like with the Justice League, it's like, you know, it could be a good and bad thing with, you know, Grant Gustin and Ezra Miller. Like, when you look at it this way, like, Justice League is going to be an origin of the Justice League. And it's like, you know, you don't have any continuity conflict. Yeah, you don't have to worry about nothing. Like, well, it's like, okay, well, you were the Flash this whole time, but where were you? Kind of thing. Yeah. You know, kind of like what we had with, I guess, with Spider-Man, or like, where were you when this? It's like, why weren't you X, Y, Z?
Yeah. And I think that it's going to be hard. It would be harder for them to write it in, you know,
it is it's like, you know, but at the same time, it's just like, but you know, you have this new character that they have to waste time in reestablishing on the big screen. It's just like, ugh. And then you're going to piss off a bunch of people who are like, but wait, how does that relate? So it's a broken record. Like, you could cycle over.
I always thought that the Arrow TV series was a great opportunity because, like, that's an under acknowledged hero, and here he is as his own TV show. And I hear it's great. I haven't watched it myself, but I hear it's amazing.
I've watched the first 3 seasons. I'm not gonna lie, I really loved the first 2. I thought they were great, and then I kind of fell off around season 3.
Well, I'm sure it gets better.
But yeah, like I've heard
if it's still going.
I've heard 4 and 5 were mad decent.
Yeah, and it's like my hope is that the Green Arrow gets better spotlight, and you know, same with like Luke Cage and everyone else. Like those TV heroes, they deserve that.
Although, but like, listen to what I said earlier. Like, I don't have cable. Like, I don't have CW, so I don't get to watch those shows as often. I don't get to watch them until they hit Netflix, and it's like by then, you know, you get straight to Netflix specials like The Defenders or Daredevil or Luke Cage and all them. Everyone has Netflix now. Yeah. Not everyone has cable anymore. Everyone's going towards these new mediums where it's like, yeah, I can watch Hulu. I can catch what I'm watching on TV on Hulu based on whenever they put it up.
Yeah.
You know, you look at the Roku now, you can basically you can tie your satellite product to the Roku and you can watch TV in real time via that without having to go to your cable box.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of like,
that's true.
You know, you look at stuff like that. I feel like they're not adapting with the thing, like with today's technology. You know, I think Marvel did a good job of going over to Netflix, you know, because everyone has Netflix now. Yeah. And it's like, duh, of course everyone's going to watch this stuff. Not everyone has CW.
And even their worst stuff, I feel like Iron Fist. Even Iron Fist is like, here, it's easily accessible. You can watch all of it. You can watch it all in one day if you
and you don't have to worry about commercials either. It's just like, you know, I don't need to waste time with this. But at the same time, it's just kind of like, well, you know, I don't know, man.
Yeah. I think in general, continuity and consistency is always great. and I like new heroes from DC. And like I said, if they bring us some new stuff, Hawkgirl stuff, Martian Manhunter, Cyborg, a Cyborg TV show. I mean, as people aside from the Justice League, other heroes, that'd be awesome. I'd just love to see that.
It'd be great, but DC, the higher powers at DC have confirmed that they have no intention of intertwining those universes together, and that's why you see it happening. That's why Gotham exists. It's not a Batman-centered TV show. It's a Commissioner Gordon-centered TV show because they have no intention of ever making that.
Because that's another Batman. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a new,
And so, I guess it's cool. The Flash and Arrow can be their own thing. But it's like, are you going to get a Superman TV show? Probably not. Well, I mean, you got Smallville,
I honestly
but it's like that was it.
There will be another Superman TV show before we die.
You really think so?
I think so. I feel it. I feel like they might make another Teenage Years.
You don't see a Batman. I don't think I've ever seen a Batman TV show, not since Adam West.
Yeah, which is great. Which is really great. Very dark.
Yeah, yeah. I'm sure.
Yeah,
I'm sure. But and that carries over with the Marvel stuff. The Peggy Carter, she got canceled. It's like, that was unfortunate. But at the same time, I feel like I personally didn't like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. The only good thing they had was, what's his face? Ghost Rider. And it's like, I don't even think
Robbie Reyes.
Yeah. And it wasn't even Johnny
Storm.
No, it's not Johnny
Cash.
Jesus.
Johnny Blaze.
That's the one. I was going to say Nicolas Cage.
Nicolas Cage.
So,
but
I don't know.
Yeah, but like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., it hits. But
it almost feels like it's just wasting my time. Like I've never been fully invested in these shows.
But some audiences love it, because
some do.
Because like
me, I don't.
Yeah.
I feel like it's just a waste of my time. If you're already telling me that you're not going to invest the time into combining your entire universes together, like both your TV and your big screen, why should I waste my time watching these shows?
It's why, so then I'm not even sure where we're going here then, what you're suggesting, because do we want it to be connected?
I know, right?
Or do we not want it to?
There are both pros and cons. It all kind of depends on just what you want.
I hear Flash and Green Arrow, great, amazing shows, but they're not connected. At the same time, we're complaining they should be connected. But then right now, what I hear you saying is they shouldn't be connected, because if they're not going to be directly connected.
I feel like Willem Dafoe Green Goblin. It's like, you killed them. It's like, no, we killed them. It's like, but you killed the people on the balcony. No, but I did.
Yeah.
So
either way, I think it's great, what Netflix is doing. But my hopes are with Krypton, maybe it'll spark some level of that. Maybe not direct connections, but Krypton, it's a prequel. Or maybe a Cyborg prequel.
Or, the way you like to do it. It's like, this makes me want to read more Superman.
Yeah. Exactly. It'll give me something.
It'll be someone's segue into the
goal
world.
is, I think, to introduce as much as you can. And I think that's my problem with DC is that I don't get that as much.
Yeah. And I think I'm just looking at it from the perspective of a long time hero lover, comic lover, TV movie lover.
Yeah.
But, and I don't take the time to think about, what about the new audience? This is going to be someone's first experience as, Grant Gustin was my first Flash. Or Ezra Miller was the first Flash, or whatever. You got the comics going on, but that's someone's first experience. So I mean, it's trying to.
It could go either way.
Yeah.
And I think I like Defenders because it gives me all these heroes that I've never heard. Jessica Jones, she's my favorite. Never heard of her before, and it made me want to look into her. And I think that's always awesome. So
Brian Michael Bendis, man.
Yeah.
He brought her into the spotlight.
Yeah, and I think that's really cool.
In fact, I think he created her. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Yeah.
So going off in a different topic,
sure.
I want to mention Legion.
Yes.
You would watch
it's
Legion.
a similar topic.
Yeah.
It's not too different.
Yeah, it's similar.
I watched the first Legion, the first season of Legion.
That's mutants, correct?
It is, without really mentioning the word.
Yeah.
A bunch of fun copyright stuff.
That's Fox, right?
Stuff.
No, who is that?
I think it was. It was Fox. Or no, FX.
FX.
It was FX. I loved it.
Yeah.
I thought it was great. So well executed. I mean, and I'm being artsy fartsy here, but it was beautiful. The cinematography was great. I thought the story was cool. It was a very non-linear storyline. It reminded me a lot of Inception.
Yeah.
So it was cool.
But that doesn't fit into the universe at all.
No, not at all.
And I think if we're saying maybe we need a good balance of that, because Legion can't actually, right? Can it even be tied into the Marvel Cinematic Universe in any way?
No way.
At all?
No.
maybe we need that. Like we need shows that aren't connected because like, hey, maybe I want a break.
Standalone
like,
stuff.
I don't need to hear about Tony Stark anymore.
Yeah. Yeah,
you know, like a standalone. Yeah. And I want to check it out still. I haven't had the chance, but like I hear it's like really trippy.
It really is.
Really.
I guarantee it's one of those ones that I'm sure if you watch it, you get a different perspective every time. Like you see details that you didn't see last time.
Yeah.
I remember with my boss, I had to have like multiple like sessions, like we each had to analyze it. It's like, oh, I saw this. It's like, oh, I didn't notice that. So you go back and rewatch it. It's like, oh, I saw that. It's like, oh, but did you catch this?
Huh.
So it's like, if you're not paying attention, it's not going to be fun.
So so they don't use the word mutant at all? And is that
honestly, not that I recall, like maybe once or twice.
So it's not,
but they never openly were like, yeah, we're mutants from Professor Xavier's super duper Institute of Awesome Kids. Yeah. Like they nowhere mentioned that at all. It's
more like a standalone with dude John Legion, whatever his name is.
David. Damn it. Well, it's David. It's David Xavier. That's what it's supposed to be, but that's not his name in the show. His name is David. But
okay.
I think David Haller is what he goes by in the show.
And I think that could be really cool to have, so that's separate. And I don't want to go too much into Legion because I don't want to get a review.
I mean, there's some serious, massive Easter eggs in it. Mm-hmm. Like there's some, especially one of the episodes is like a chalk drawing with a little bald dude wearing a little suit and tie coming out of like a little wheelchair. Yeah. And you're like, gee, I wonder who that is.
Yeah.
But it's like they never openly say it.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know, it was really creatively well done.
Yeah.
But the thing that irks me is that they've already confirmed that Legion 2 just won't pull from any source material for anything. And I'm just like, okay, cool. Like Legion was cool. And they did a really good job with that. Like, because technically Legion goes back. I think he goes back in time to kill Magneto, I believe.
Okay.
And the blast that he shoots at Magneto ends up hitting his Professor X instead, and it kills him.
Oh.
And it creates an alternate timeline in which Professor X was never able to assemble the X-Men. He wasn't there to stop Apocalypse, and so the timeline is called the Age of Apocalypse.
Oh.
I'm sure you've heard of it.
Yeah.
He created that timeline.
Wow.
And they don't allude to that into the show whatsoever. I don't know if they will or not. I don't know. I mean,
because can they even do that? Like, who owns Legion? Is that Fox or is it Marvel?
That is
because I think whoever like the answer to that question can lead into why it's not connected or why maybe they're going off script. Because I mean, I'm honestly a big fan of when they don't copy or like when they don't go based off the source material.
Yeah, you don't know what's going to happen, kind of thing.
Like, yeah, because then I could be like, oh, this could be really great or it could be terrible.
Yeah,
but I'll take my chances, honestly. I think I think it allows for creativity, and I think a lot of times when people get upset, like, oh, that was nothing like the book, it's like, well, should it have been?
Yeah, I mean, and upon further research here, it looks like FX's parent organizations are Fox Entertainment Group and 21st Century Fox.
Okay,
so I mean, I guess they could technically go into it.
They can make it X-Men if they wanted to.
Most likely.
So, but I mean, I feel like maybe there's a reason why maybe they're just like with DC, where they don't want to because if they do, they'll ruin X-Men or maybe not. I mean, not ruin.
Don't worry, they already have.
But I don't. Okay, but maybe they won't be able to like establish it again later. Like if they connect it, like right now, Flash, they can't remake. Let me see. That's a good example, but shoot, like they can't if they have Legion standalone. They can just scrap Legion if they ever wanted to, and just be like, you know what, we're done.
Like that was it. That was its own thing.
Yeah, but if they introduce it like, oh, Legion is part of X-Men, like X-Men's timeline is already messed up. The cinematic X-Men universe is
not even cinematic. It's just their comic timeline has just always been.
Yeah, and I guess that makes sense then. Maybe, but like if Legion, like let's make it standalone. It's not dependent on anything. That's messed up already. Let's just keep it. It's its own thing. Not even hint at X-Men, but like it's X-Men.
And like creative imagination.
So like I think that's kind of cool. It can be. I mean, I'll watch it still. And I also want to talk about Inhumans.
Yes.
That's
a trailer we were watching. That's a trailer we were watching when we kicked off this episode.
It's so bizarre how like. So I remember I saw that trailer.
Good bizarre, bad bizarre.
Good bizarre for me. Well, here's my realization.
Yeah.
Because I remember I saw the trailer. You sent it to me. And you said, "Oh, these are the Inhumans." I actually don't know who I didn't ask me like a month ago. I had no idea who the Inhumans were at all, like at all. and you sent me the trailer, and I'm like, oh, it's Marvel. I'll watch it. Like, we're doing the podcast, I should probably know about it, so I watch it. And then I read Infinity Gauntlet. Then I read World War Hulk. Then I'm going to purchase Inhumans.
You read Illuminati as well.
Yeah, Illuminati. So I know Black Bolt, and now it makes sense. Now things are connecting to me for me, and I'm like, oh, that's Black Bolt. That's that guy. I don't know. It just makes sense now to me. But like, what are you, I have my thoughts on it, but
yeah, no. I think most of my thoughts are budget related.
Yeah,
that's my thing. You know, like granted, it's a different budget for TV. They have a different deadline and all that stuff. When I first saw it, I thought it was really cool. I will admit, I think Black Bolt was pretty neat. That he's not talking.
Yeah.
I certainly hope he does at some point and uses his power.
Oh yeah, he was about to look like.
Yeah, until Game of Thrones guy stopped him.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Ramsay Bolton in Game of Thrones. I don't know his real name.
Man, weak.
He was a really good character on it. I honestly, when I first saw Inhumans, he alone made me want to watch it because I like his character in Game of Thrones a lot. Like, he is very devious, very just scary in general. Like, he has that scary, creepy, psychotic vibe to him.
Did he have that same vibe in the trailer for you?
Oh yeah, yeah.
He did.
Because if you watch Game of Thrones, you'd understand.
Okay.
He is honestly one of the most.
I'm not a huge Game of Thrones watcher.
That's a sin.
I know. I'm sure people are just unsubscribing right now.
I read all the books and I watched all of them. But his character is honestly the most treacherous character. One of the most treacherous characters in the series.
I will say they did an excellent casting job with him as Maximus the Mad. He looks just like he popped out of a comic book.
Yeah.
It looks just like him. And for those of you who don't know much about the Inhumans, Maximus is like he's kind of like a loose bolted brain guy. Like, he's just kind of not all there.
Yeah.
Hence the name Maximus the Mad. And he's kind of like the sinister brother of the main character and king of the Inhuman.
Yeah.
Black Bolt. His full name is Blackagar Boltagon. And so what the Inhumans are in a nutshell is they're kind of like a cosmic race of the X-Men. The X-Men kind of get their powers manifested at puberty via the mutant gene. The Inhumans, on the other hand, must use a medium to manifest their powers. It's called the Terrigen Mist. And at puberty, at 13, they walk through this mist and their powers manifest via the Inhuman gene.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what the story is going to be digging into for the show. So I guess to get a little bit more into what I thought about it, I thought it was cool. I know a lot of people didn't like the way Medusa looked. A lot of people didn't like the way the costumes looked. A lot of people don't like the guy who plays Black Bolt. I'm like, the guy literally has said 0 words. How do you not like this guy? He's not a guy of huge expression, as you're hopefully if you read the comic, you'll understand. So I strongly recommend, like maybe before, being upset at some stuff, you just need to learn what Black Bolt's character is about. He's a guy who's literally mute. His power is that any sort of sound wave that comes from his throat or mouth, and mouth, has the power to just level anything in its path. A simple whisper is like Hiroshima and Nagasaki all over again.
I've seen that. I've fallen in love with his character. He just seems mysterious and cool. Like, I want to know his story.
Yeah.
And then humans in general, it's just the concept of them is really neat. And I think for me, I've told you I want to research them more and research Black Bolt more specifically. I have high hopes for the show. Again, I don't think this is attached to anything.
I don't think it is either. I'm glad you have high hopes for this show. A lot of people don't. Unfortunately, myself included. Simply because there's just things that I don't agree with. I don't agree with the route that Marvel is pushing Inhumans out there. They're going to be needed in the movies, especially exploring the Kree world already that they already have. Captain Marvel, I'm interested to see how they're going to dig into that whole Kree Skrull war. Like, if you're bringing the Kree in and you're bringing the Inhumans in, and you've had Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. kind of explore the stuff with the Kree and the Inhumans.
Yeah.
How are you going to make a movie without having one of the Marvel's most powerful families in there? And secondly, I'm a huge X-Men fan, and I'm sure a lot of people out there are X-Men fans. And the way Marvel has kind of just ousted the X-Men and the way they're pushing the Inhumans for today's generation, I don't necessarily agree with it. It's kind of like the same Fantastic Four thing that they're crapping on them. But I'm excited to see it. It's going to be cool. So I don't know. I won't know until I see the first episode, and I won't know how it goes. It's interesting because we saw the IMAX thing.
Yeah.
It's going to be, the first episode will be in IMAX. The only thing I don't understand is that they've already confirmed that they're not going to show the entire episode in IMAX. It's only going to be like IMAX portions of the show. And in order to get the full experience of the show, you have to watch the show on TV.
No.
Right?
That's a little odd.
So it's kind of like going to a movie, paying for like 60% of the movie, and then having to watch the movie at home to get the full 100% experience.
Yeah.
So I don't know how they're going to do in the IMAX. That might be a flop.
It might be. I think it's an odd thing to do in general.
It is.
Have like the first episode in IMAX. Like, who's not?
I'm a little curious what's going through Jeff Loeb's head.
Yeah, like what's going to happen?
He's the creative mind behind the whole the TV universe, and Jeff Loeb is a mastermind writer, screenwriter for multiple movies that I think he did Cliffhanger back in the 80s, and he did a bunch of phenomenal comic books. Daredevil Yellow and Spider-Man Blue, but. I don't know. I'd like to know what's going through this guy's mind about doing that stunt. So
I mean, we'll see, but I think it'd be, if it is completely standalone. I mean, it might be just a nice way to like a nod towards the Inhumans and see and test the waters with them, because I feel like we haven't really seen them at all in any capacity.
Not in the movies anyway.
Yeah, like in movies or
Well, I mean, false. We had Ronan.
Oh,
Ronan is
that's
Kree.
true.
Ronan is a Kree.
But very little to suggest that they even exist. And this might be like maybe they'll just do a first season and it won't be connected, and if it doesn't work well, the second season will be like, all right, it's connected.
Hopefully their budget's a little higher for second season, because that Medusa hair is killing me.
It does look a little odd, but I mean, I'm open-minded. I like Black Bolt. Like, he's my guy now. Like,
I'm not saying I hate them.
Yeah.
I love the book by Paul Jenkins.
Yeah.
The Inhumans.
It's in my Amazon cart.
It's amazing. I'm so glad you're going to pick it up.
Yeah.
I strongly recommend anyone out there to go ahead and pick up Inhumans by Paul Jenkins on Amazon. It's a great comic book. You get 12 comics. How much is it, John? Is it
like about 20? I found it on $20 bucks.
20 bucks. That's a small price to pay for a great book.
Yeah. So I mean, we'll see, but I don't. I'm happy. I want to see it. More Marvel stuff, the better. Maybe we might be get oversaturated with heroes in general.
Yeah,
possibly.
This is the age of heroes.
We're literally getting the Defenders this month. We're getting
Punisher.
Punisher in November, and
we're getting the movies. Justice League. We're getting Thor in November.
We got who is it? Black Panther next February.
I mean, and then Flash and Arrow.
Flashpoint. We didn't even talk about Flashpoint.
Oh, we didn't. Yeah, we're not. Yeah,
we have a little bit of time.
The Flash movie is officially been titled as Flashpoint.
Yeah,
and we know that Gal Gadot, her Wonder Woman will be in the movie.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if they're trying to pull a similar stunt as like Tony Stark being in every movie.
Yeah.
I'm glad they're doing it with Wonder Woman. I'm glad it's not Batman.
Yeah. I feel like we've had too much Batman.
Although I don't know how they're going to incorporate Wonder Woman, because she's not a millionaire. She's not
into Flashpoint though. I mean, it could work.
Yeah, I would really love if they really accentuated the thing, like Aquaman versus Wonder Woman.
But I wonder. My thought is, I don't know. They're gonna have to change it, obviously. I think there's gonna be less of focus on Batman. I think there kind of has to be.
That'd be kind of cool. I know that I read some article earlier this week that watch out, Batman fans. Batman might not have the role you were hoping for in Justice League.
Yeah,
and that it might be more Wonder Woman centered.
Yeah. And I wonder how that'll work, because they have to change a lot. I mean, I think for the most part, Flashpoint's cast is similar to Justice League, the movie. I'm saying, like, Flashpoint, the movie, I think will look similar to Justice, like, their cast-wise.
Yeah.
Like, they got Cyborg, they got Flash, they got Batman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, like, more or less. So, but I wonder, like, should Batman even be as important? Like, because
he's always important, though.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know.
He's kind of like, I don't know. I don't want to say the Tony Stark, but he's kind of like the Tony Stark.
Yeah.
Tony Stark is pivotal to the Avengers.
Yeah.
He was one of the first Avengers. Yeah. It was what was it? It was Thor, Hulk, and Iron Man.
Yeah.
I think were the founding. And then you have Ant-Man and Wasp if you really want to get into it. But you know, like, oh boy.
Oh wow. Oh man.
That's just our reference timer.
Yeah. So our oven off.
No, you're fine. But yeah, I mean, like, it's just kind of like one of those things. I'm interested. I'm interested to see where they go. I know for the longest time I was like, oh man, Justice League's not gonna be very good, but I will say I'm pretty hyped.
Yeah, I'm
pretty hyped.
I don't think we should look down upon it like in any capacity, but like it's different. It's to be different. Yeah. My hopes are high. My expectations are like in the middle. Like I wouldn't be upset if some things didn't make sense because, you know, how can they have so many origin stories in one movie? But like I think you said it actually really well. This is an origin story for the team, not necessarily individuals.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll see how that works.
Yeah, and maybe that's just what's going through the creative minds. Yeah. I mean, you know, of course, other than money. Yeah. But you know, hey. As we always say, this is going to be someone's first experience for something.
Oh, for sure.
So I'm hoping it's a good experience for all these people, myself included.
I mean, it only paves the way for more heroes and more everything. So
yeah. Well, that about wraps up this episode, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to take this sandwich to go. If you haven't already, make sure you like our podcast. Hit the like button under this beautiful window. And then you also hit subscribe. Do that while you're at it. Comment. Do all the good things. Also hit that little bell on the top right of your YouTube screen to make sure you get the awesome notifications every time we have a new sandwich delivery. Oh man, I'm going through with all these things.
I know, that's good as spitball in here. Right? Make sure you share it too. Yeah. I think it's important. Let people know. We like our Facebook, do everything we you know.
Yeah, YouTube, Facebook. At Nerd Sandwich. Actually, Nerd Sandwich Podcast on Facebook is what it is. So thank you for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. I'm the amazing John. No, I'm not. I'm the amazing Juan. I'm looking at. I'm assumed your identity.
I have the inhuman gene, John.
And I'm the inhuman gene, Juan. And thank you for joining us, folks. This has been Nerd Sandwich.